This year in the NL, there's been plenty of disappointing pitchers like there have been in the AL and pitching staffs. We'll get into that later. But today I'm going to be covering the top 3 most disappointing pitchers so far this year in the NL. So let's get into it. Coming in at number 3, we have Sandy Alcantara. Sandy hasn't been awful like some of the guys on the American League list, but he has been poor this season. After coming off a Cy Young season, we'd expect him to live up to some of the hype he built up, but he hasn't been great, pitching to a line of an ERA of 4.64, an ERA plus of 93, a FIP of 3.98, a WHIP of 1.263, and a BABIP of 0.298. His hard hit percentage has also jumped 2% from last year, from 38 to 40. He's been getting better, pitching to a sub-3 ERA his last few starts, but he won't be in contention for a Cy Young this year because of his poor start to his season. Coming in at number 2, we have the entire Mets pitching staff. I couldn't decide from one Mets pitcher, so I said screw it, let's throw them all in here. With their Lord and Savior, the King of Trumpets, down, it's been off to the rest of the bullpen to shut down games and hold games, which they have not been great at doing. And after losing DeGrom to the Rangers, who lost him to injury, the rotation has been great. Verlander and Scherzer are both looking like they can now grow old, and it's not only them. The entire staff has pitched to a line of an ERA of 4.41, an ERA plus of 109, a FIP of 4.72, a WHIP of 1.35, and a BABIP of 0.290. Their ERA plus says their average, but the rest says otherwise. And to be honest, for a team with a payroll that high, this should not be happening. They shouldn't be this awful, but they are, and that's why they are number 2. Coming in at number 1, we have Julio Urias. Wow, it's like Alek Manoah, but for the NL, except he didn't go on a world tour through the minor leagues. Julio has been poor. People thought he could be a dark horse Cy Young candidate. Instead, he's been mid. He's supposed to be the Dodgers ace, but he's been the opposite of that, pitching to a line of 4.35, an ERA plus of 101, a FIP of 4.64, a WHIP of 1.109, and a BABIP of 0.266. Julio hasn't been great, and for a team that really needs pitching like the Dodgers, he's number 1 on this list because he's been just piss poor. But to be fair, it's hard to find disappointing pitchers in the NL because they are stacked with pitching this year. I mean, just look at the Braves and look at the Mets, but if the Mets weren't awful. And to be fair, I would include people like Patrick Corbin, but this is in the decade list, so we're not including people with like a 30,000 ERA in the past decade. So yeah, and I would include Steven Strasburg, but it's really easy to look at the Nationals and say, wow, they're disappointing. But yeah, I would include people like that, but it's not the past decade list, so no. Yeah, so if you enjoyed the list, please like and subscribe. It's objectively correct because I made it, and yeah, let's get us to 20 subscribers now because we're past that 10 mark. Thank you guys. I'll see you next one. Peace.